Hi everyone. Today I'm going to go over the appointment set-in training. Items to be covered, role of the caller, how we get our customers, customer entry info, tools of the caller, making calls, setting appointments, and following up. And then if you have any questions, feel free to email or text them to me. Role of the caller. Once a caller has been assigned a client, that caller becomes the client's main point of contact until they meet with one of the coaches on their first level 1 or 2 meetings. The caller is to confirm with the client the following: the type of service or information that they are interested in. They're going to verify the best time to meet with that client. The caller should pay close attention to the availability of the coaches on the master calendar so that they don't double book any appointments. The caller also sends out calendar invitations to both the client and the coaches. The role of the caller is one of the most important roles as it helps us set the relationship between the client and financial coach for you. Now remember that the client has already told us what they want. Your job as the caller is to just confirm and schedule that appointment. The do's and the don'ts. Do not get caught up in detailed conversations with the client. You're going to get yourself caught because you're not going to know what to answer or what to say. The first stage of communication is only to secure them on the calendar to meet with one of our coaches. On Trello, you can make as many notes as you can because the clients sometimes talk. They might have a spouse that's going on deployment in a couple of months. They might have a birth. They might have a death. Whatever the client talk about, just make sure you jot it down on Trello so that whoever is going to meet with that client will be well prepared for their meeting. I'm going to skip the slide and go right into the different types of surveys that we have. Now, there are surveys that Financial Coach for You has after we teach our classes. And then there's also surveys that San Diego Financial Literacy needs to have to keep track of their numbers. So when we're working on fc4u events, we will basically have them scan the QR code and automatically they will fill out their survey. Before we used to have hard copies. We don't have hard copies anymore, thank goodness. So they scan the QR code and fill in their information and then just check off whatever items that they want to address. This is the first process in collecting information from the clients. It's that level 1 survey. Now, you might have people that are interested in just credit repair. Guess what? They still fill out that survey questionnaire. No matter what they want, before we sit down with any clients, that's the first step. On the customer entry info, so at the end of each event, whether we teach a class or whether we have a table set up in the community as a vendor, um, we have them scan that QR code. And once they scan it, Coach Ted enters that information onto Trello. Want to have it done within 24 hours. So once they've been entered on Trello, Coach Ted will make the initial contact by sending out an email addressed to that client, just basically showing that the information that they wanted. So once we have confirmation that the client's information is correct and we send it out, now we keep track on Trello. You are going to be assigned to the clients. So what we ask of you is that it's highly recommended that once Coach Ted puts them on Trello, that you are able to make that initial call, like within 24 hours, or else the hot list is going to get cold. What do you need to be effective as a caller? You will need the following tools. Do you have a laptop or a desktop? Do you have good internet connection? The Google account, the voicemail, the calendars, these are the platform. These are the tools that Financial Coach for You will supply to you. Make sure that when you start making phone calls that you are in a quiet space. We don't need to hear no dogs barking. We don't need to hear no babies crying. Get yourself in a quiet space, right? Because all of that is just a distraction and unprofessional. Um, when you're making calls, I will provide you with a phone script. That phone script is basically there to help you keep track of what you're going to talk about. The script is there as a guide. I never want anyone to read it word for word for word for word because the client can tell that you're reading something. So after you start making these calls, you're going to build up your confidence, and then you'll be able to just ad lib or not even use the script, right? So remember, the key here is to get the client on the calendar. They have already filled out the survey telling us what their needs are, right? So do not get caught up in any conversation with them. Once you start this dialogue going back and forth, it's a wrap because they're going to start asking questions, and now you're not able to answer questions. And besides, if you're making phone calls, the more calls that you make, the better you are, right? So keep an eye on that. So when you're setting appointments, it's important for you to know the availability of the coaches, right? Prepping the client on what to expect. Um, they're not coming to me, so they're not driving to my location, so we don't have to worry about giving them directions. But you want to make sure, as the caller, that you're going to send out the invitation via email, and also you are the point of contact for that client. So your job isn't over with the first appointment. If you book that appointment, put it on the calendar, that's not the end of the story. You just begin it. Remember, you are the client's ambassador. You set them on the calendar. You are the point of contact for them. It is your responsibility to follow up with the client. Set reminders for yourself. If their appointment is tomorrow, you want to call them the day before. Yes, they're going to have notifications coming to them on an email or on a text, but it's always good habit to call them the day before and, hi, Jill, this is Ray. Just calling to confirm your appointment for tomorrow. You're going to be meeting with Coach so and so. Are we still on? Is everything okay? Yes, not a problem. They'll be there. So just make sure that um, you keep in contact with them and let them know or remind them because things happen. So here are the payment structure. Now I know I'm not expecting people to just volunteer the time, right? Because hey, a lot of people want to make extra income. So this is what we have, the structure that we have in place for you. You get paid $50 per complete cycle. That means level one, the client already filled out. Level two, you call in that client and putting them on the calendar. On the level two appointment, this is where I will gather information to fill out on their input forms and their budget sheets. Level three, The information that I gather on level 2, turn it into Coach Ted. He's going to crunch the numbers and he's going to put together 3 scenarios for that client based on the information that we gather. When I meet with the clients, it's level 3, I go over the scenarios. I show them the good, I show them the better, I show them the best. And they get to choose, which plan would you like to start with? Want to start with A, B, or C? They choose. Whatever plan they choose, fine. Level 4 is when we implement their plan. We write it up, we fill out the applications, and then we submit it to the company. Level 4 is implementing their plan. What I've done, because in the past I've said, okay, once we get the approval from underwriters, then we get paid, you get paid. I've changed that to where once we submit that plan for the client to the underwriters, you get paid. We don't wait to see whether it was approved or disapproved. You're going to get paid for your time. How do you know when you get paid? It's all tracked on Trello. Because when we move from one level to the next, you're going to know. You're going to know when we go from level 2 to level 3, and then from level 3 to level 4. Once we hit level 4 and you see that we have submitted, you get paid. Okay? So hopefully what I've shared with you, you now have an overview on what is expected. It's decision time. Let me know if you're interested in moving forward with the training process, whether it's to become an appointment setter or become a financial coach. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you over the top. Over the top.